Okay, so anyway, you've got to university, and you were studying economics and economic history and politics, I think, at
Yeah,
Glasgow, weren't you?
that's right.
And that would have been in the late 70s then, about
No, I went to university in 1972. One of the quirks of the education system in Glasgow was that because I was an October baby, I went to school when I was 4. And then in Scotland, you could go to university after 5 years, not 6. So I ended up being 16 for about a week when I went to Glasgow University. And I looked 16, I looked like a little schoolboy, and I was still quite small then. And of course, part of university is corporate life, and I was not old enough and shouldn't have been trying to get into bars anyway. So, you missed out on a certain amount for your first 6 months or so. But no, 1972 is when I went up to university.
wow, the age of 16. So
Yeah.
then that and how was university? Did you enjoy it? Did it go well?
I enjoyed it. But again, in those days in Glasgow, university it wasn't the same immersive experience that it is today. I mean, I got the bus to university and the bus back at night, and I quite often go home for my tea and my evening meal. I would go out on a Friday night, but I come back again. So I wasn't living in a flat. I wasn't living in student accommodation. It was different from being at school. You felt more of a younger, a growing up adult, but it wasn't the way that it is for youngsters today. Not that it was any downside. I still thoroughly enjoyed it, and I was able to take part. Apart from getting my degree, I was president of the union. I was involved in debating, so I was quite active in the corporate life of the university.
Oh, you were president of the union. That's interesting, given how relatively young you were.
Yeah, I think I was 19 when I was president, so I was probably the youngest. And in Glasgow, the president of the union, it wasn't just an honorary position. You actually had a physical student union building, and you had bars and restaurants and staff. You had a general manager, and the board of which you were the president literally did determine things like the pricing policy for beer and food, and which bands to hire. So it was a great exposure at an early stage for me to really running a business, which I thoroughly enjoyed.